kid in cargo shorts, tube socks, and a ratty t-shirt just pulled off the biggest financial heist in the history of crypto. Not with a gun, not with a hack, not even with a Ponzi scheme, at least not the kind you'd recognize. He did it with a smile, a messiah complex, and a balance sheet so cooked it would make Enron blush. His name? Sam Bankman-Fried. The internet calls him SBF. Forbes called him a visionary. Congress called him to testify as an expert. And right now, a federal judge is calling his prison cell home for the next 25 years. This man went from a $26 billion net worth, richer than most NFL owners, richer than half the people on the Forbes 400, to absolutely zero. In one single day, his fortune dropped 94%, the biggest one-day wealth collapse in the history of the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. And here's the part that should blow your mind. He wasn't working in the shadows. He was doing it on the main stage, in broad daylight, with a League of Legends match running in the background. This is the story of how one man logically, methodically, and shamelessly scammed an entire industry and had everyone applauding while he did it. This video is for educational purposes only. Nothing here is financial advice, but if you've ever trusted your money to a crypto exchange, this one's required viewing. To understand how SBF played everyone, you gotta understand where he came from, because this wasn't some random dude with a laptop. This was a calculated, surgical operation from day one. Sam Bankman-Fried was born into Stanford royalty. Both his parents, professors at Stanford Law School. His aunt, dean at Columbia. This kid was raised in the Ivy League like some people are raised on a ranch. He goes to MIT, graduates with a physics degree, lands a gig at Jane Street Capital, one of the most elite trading firms on Wall Street. We're talking about a place where the average salary is higher than most people's mortgage. But SBF wasn't satisfied, because at Jane Street he discovered something interesting, a flaw in the crypto market that most people were sleeping on. In 2017, there was a gap, sometimes as high as 25%, between what Bitcoin was selling for in Japan and what it was going for in the US. It was free money. All you had to do was buy here, sell there, and pocket the difference. So what does SBF do? He leaves Jane Street and starts Alameda Research, a crypto trading firm, in November 2017. Named after a city in California. Run out of a crash pad in Berkeley with a bunch of 20-somethings who thought they were about to change the world. And for a while, business was booming. They were printing money on these arbitrage trades like they found a glitch in the matrix. But here's where the real scheme starts. In 2019, SBF has a light bulb moment. He thinks, why am I just trading on other people's exchanges when I could build my own? So he calls up his buddy Gary Wang, a former Google engineer, and together they launch FTX, a crypto exchange, a place for millions of people to deposit, trade, and store their digital money. Think of it like this: Alameda was the player, FTX was about to become the casino, and SBF owned both. If that doesn't make the hair on the back of your neck stand up, keep watching. Now here's where SBF starts putting on the performance of a lifetime, and I mean Oscar-worthy. While he's building one of the biggest financial time bombs in history, he's also becoming the most beloved figure in crypto. The media couldn't get enough of this kid. He told everyone he was an effective altruist, basically someone who makes as much money as possible just so they can give it all away to charity. Noble, right? He even told Bloomberg that someday he'd live on just $100,000 a year. That's it. Everything else going to save the world. Meanwhile, this dude was living in a $40 million penthouse in the Bahamas. Inside the Albany Resort, a gated paradise with a private mega yacht marina, 11 restaurants, its own private school, and a golf course designed by Ernie Els. He bought 19 properties down there totaling over $121 million. But when he showed up to Congress to testify about crypto regulation, cargo shorts, messy hair, beat-up sneakers, just a humble nerd trying to do the right thing. The PR machine was unreal. FTX slapped its name on the Miami Heat arena, boom, FTX Arena. They got Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen as brand ambassadors. Major League Baseball umpires were wearing the FTX logo. They sponsored Formula One teams, sports squads. They even got a naming deal with UC Berkeley Stadium. Super Bowl commercial? Yeah, with Larry David telling America that doubting FTX was like doubting the wheel, the light bulb, democracy. The irony, they're aged like milk left on a Texas dashboard in July. By January 2022, FTX was valued at $32 billion. SBF was worth $26 billion. He was the second biggest donor in the entire 2022 election cycle, pumping nearly $40 million into political campaigns. He was shaking hands with senators, getting invited to the World Economic Forum, testifying before Congress like he was the crypto Dalai Lama. Nobody, and I mean nobody, saw through the costume. Alright, here's where the crime happens. And this is the part that should make your blood boil if you ever had a single dollar on FTX. Remember, SBF owned both FTX, the exchange, and Alameda Research, the trading firm. That's like owning a bank and also being its biggest borrower. A conflict of interest the size of Texas. And here's what he did. He had his engineers build a secret backdoor in FTX's code. A hidden exemption that allowed Alameda Research, and only Alameda, to borrow unlimited funds from FTX without posting any collateral. No margin margin calls, no safety nets, no nothing. While your average user would get liquidated the moment their position went south, Alameda could tap into a bottomless ATM funded by other people's money. And tap they did. At its peak, Alameda had borrowed a staggering $15.4 billion. And where did that money come from? Customer deposits. Your deposits. Grandma's deposits. The guy who put his stimulus check into Bitcoin, his deposit. FTX's balance sheet was a horror show. It showed $9 billion in liabilities and only $900 million in actual assets. That's not a gap, that's the Grand Canyon. The money was flowing out to fund luxury real estate, risky venture investments, a $1 billion bet on a politically connected venture fund, and tens of millions in political donations. He even bought his parents a $16.4 million house in the Bahamas with customer funds. And the kicker? FTX never produced audited balance sheets. They were a private company. Nobody was looking under the hood. There was literally no paper trail showing whether FTX could even cover its liabilities. SBF wasn't robbing a bank. He was the bank, and he was writing himself checks with your money while you slept. November 2nd, 2022, a date that lives in infamy in the crypto world. CoinDesk publishes an article that drops a nuclear bomb. They report that a huge chunk of Alameda Research's assets were made up of FTT, a token that FTX literally invented. Not Bitcoin, not Ethereum, a made-up house token that only had value because FTX said it did. It's like finding out your bank's entire reserve is just IOUs written on napkins. Then Changpeng Zhao, the CEO of Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange and an early FTX investor, drops a tweet heard around the world. He announces Binance is dumping all its FTT holdings, about $580 million worth. Just like that, mic drop. The crypto world panics. Customers start pulling their money off FTX faster than people leaving a movie theater during a fire alarm. In days, billions in withdrawals flood in, and FTX can't cover them because the money's gone. It's already been funneled to Alameda. And what does SBF do? On November 8th, while the ship is actively sinking, he tweets, "FTX is fine. Assets are fine." The man was watching $8 billion vanish in real time and told the internet everything was cool. That tweet aged like cottage cheese in a sauna. Binance briefly agreed to bail out FTX, but after looking at the books for about 5 minutes, they walked away, citing mishandled customer funds. Even the biggest crypto exchange on the planet looked at this mess and said, "Nah, fam, we're good." November 11th, just 10 days after the CoinDesk article, FTX files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. SBF resigns, and the man brought in to clean up the wreckage? John J. Ray 3, the same guy who was brought in to untangle Enron. And when Ray looked at FTX's books, he said something that should chill you to the bone. He said that in 40 years of legal and restructuring work, he had never seen such a complete failure of corporate controls. Never. Not even at Enron. Let that sink in. The guy who cleaned up Enron said FTX was worse. December 12th, 2022, SBF is arrested in the Bahamas by U.S. authorities, extradited to the States, slapped with 7 criminal charges including wire fraud, securities fraud, commodities fraud, and money laundering. And then his own team turned on him like the last 10 minutes of a mob movie. Caroline Ellison, the CEO of Alameda and SBF's ex-girlfriend, took the stand and told the jury that SBF personally directed her to commit crimes. She cried on the stand. She pleaded guilty. She cooperated fully with prosecutors. Gary Wang, FTX's co-founder, testified about the secret code he built at SBF's direction. The code that let Alameda raid customer funds without any guardrails. He pleaded guilty. Nishad Singh, FTX's former engineering director, testified about the reckless spending, the billion-dollar investments in celebrity-connected venture funds, the political donations that broke campaign finance laws. He pleaded guilty too. Everyone sang, and they all pointed at the same guy. SBF took the stand himself, testified for over 5 hours. His defense? "I made mistakes." He blamed Caroline for not managing risk properly. He called them a number of small mistakes and a number of larger mistakes. Mistakes. He called an $8 billion heist mistakes, like he accidentally stole a pack of gum at a 7-Eleven. The jury deliberated for about 4 hours. That's it. Less time than most people spend binge-watching a Netflix series. Guilty on all 7 counts. March 28, 2024, Judge Lewis Kaplan sentences SBF to 25 years in federal prison. He won't be eligible for release until 2044. He'll be 52 years old. Now here's where this story takes one more wild turn. You'd think a man serving 25 years for one of the biggest financial frauds in American history would sit down, shut up, and do his time, right? Not SBF. From behind bars, this man is still scheming. He's filing appeals. He's requesting a retrial claiming newly discovered evidence. His mom, a Stanford law professor, is filing legal motions on his behalf. The judge literally had to tell her she doesn't have legal standing to submit court papers for her grown son. And the most brazen move of all? SBF has been posting on X through intermediaries, praising President Trump, supporting U.S. strikes on Iran, parroting conservative talking points. Why? Because he's transparently angling for a presidential pardon. He did a a phone interview from prison with the New York Sun where he trashed Biden. He appeared on Tucker Carlson's show, which landed him in solitary confinement. He's basically running a campaign for clemency from a jail cell. But even Trump, a president who has pardoned other crypto figures like Silk Road founder Ross Ulbricht, said publicly in January 2026, no pardon for SBF. Meanwhile, the FTX Recovery Trust is distributing around $2.2 billion back to creditors. Many customers are getting close to full repayment, but at the dollar value from when FTX collapsed, when Bitcoin was around $17,000. Not today's prices. That's like getting reimbursed for a house at 2009 prices when the market's back at 2024 levels. The damage isn't just financial. SBF single-handedly triggered a crypto winter that lasted over a year. He destroyed trust in centralized exchanges. He gave every crypto skeptic and regulator on the planet the ammunition they needed to clamp down on the entire industry. One man, in cargo shorts, playing League of Legends on investor calls. Here's the takeaway, and I need y'all to tattoo this on your brain. Sam Bankman-Fried didn't scam the crypto industry with some complicated algorithm nobody could understand. He did it with the oldest trick in the book, trust. He made you trust the exchange, trust the brand, trust the celebrity endorsements, trust the guy in the cargo shorts who said he just wanted to save the world. And while you trusted, he spent your money on penthouses, on politicians, on a lifestyle that would make a Wall Street banker blush. The next time somebody tells you they're in it for the greater good while sitting on your money, remember this story, because the most dangerous fraud isn't the one you can't see. It's the one that smiles at you. If this video just opened your eyes to something the mainstream glossed over, smash that like button like your portfolio depends on it. Subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. And drop a comment. Did you lose money on FTX? I want to hear your story. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and I'll see you in the next one.